All right, so now the question is, how do you go about cleaning your hair system? Depending on what type of hair system you have, meaning the base type and the type of adhesive you use, meaning either a tape or a liquid adhesive, there's some different ways that you clean your unit to make sure that they get all of the adhesive out of them and are ready for your next application. So this video, we're gonna walk through a couple of the different ways that you can wash and maintain your hair system. Now, we're gonna first start out with talking about a poly system and tape, because that's what we used earlier in this course. We're also going to talk about how to clean a poly system that has a liquid adhesive on it. We're also going to talk about how to remove liquid and tape adhesive from a lace unit. It's quite different, and it's something that you have to be gentle with as to the fact that you do not want to pull hairs out through the back of the unit. So let's begin looking at our unit and what we're going to need to use in order to get rid of the adhesive that's on here. So remember, this is a tape adhesive on a poly unit. So we're going to use a solvent once again, like we did, in order to get our hair system off. This one I'm going to use a stronger solvent on to make sure so I can get all of the tape off of the bottom of this unit. You're going to need solvent. You're going to need some paper towels in order for cleanup, and you're going to need some cotton balls on the side in order to make sure that we're completely clear of adhesive and solvent off of your base. All right, so now that we're here and we have our unit and we're ready to take the tape off of it, what we're going to do is we're going to apply some solvent here. So the first thing that I like to do is I like to feel around and see if I can find somewhere that the tape is coming up a little bit. So like right here, we have the opportunity. What we're going to do is we're just going to spray right in this area. Actually, we'll just spray all around this hair system and start to let the solvent soak in everything. Now with this right here, what we're going to do is we're going to start peeling it up. Now it may come off relatively easy, it may come off a little bit more difficultly. It's different every time, and it depends on how much you have worn the unit, how much the bond is broken down, all of these different things. Now this right here is a relatively fresh piece of tape, so it's going to come off pretty easy because it hasn't had the same duration. It's been on the unit for a long time, therefore it's going to come off a lot easier. It's not going to be as much of a pain in the butt. Now this is not always the case, and we will talk about that immediately after we get through with this. What happens when tape is a little bit more aggressive and you have to work at it a little bit more. Something to note as you're doing this is that some hairs from the hair system may be getting caught in the tape or the adhesive. When that happens, all you really got to do is apply a little bit of solvent or isopropyl alcohol and simply move the hairs out of the way. I'm pulling them a little bit off of the adhesive. I'm not pulling from the roots though. I'm grabbing them and pulling them away from the adhesive, and they tend to come out really easy. So you shouldn't be losing a lot of hairs when you do this. So it's really as simple as this right here. Don't be scared of pulling this adhesive off. When it comes to poly, there's a great barrier, and these are fairly strong. Now you should not be like yanking on this super hard in a way that you feel like you're gonna rip the poly, because that is totally possible. You can rip poly, and people have ripped poly, and it's kind of kills the unit. So what do you do with all of this adhesive? Well, I like to take a piece of paper towel like so, and I like to store it on the paper towel. Just an easy way to take care of it and put it aside. So we're going to keep on doing this. We're going to apply a little bit more adhesive like so. And keep in mind, guys, like I said before, it's not always going to be this easy. If the tape breaks down, it's going to be tougher to get it off, and it's going to take a little bit more work, and you're gonna have to let this solvent sit for a little bit longer, but that's okay. Don't worry too much about that. You're gonna be all right. So you see this right here? We have some of the hair that's kind of stuck into the tape, and that's okay. All we do is we just, once again, apply a little bit of solvent and pull the hair out. You know, you can lose a lot of hair when you're taking up your adhesive, and that's never a good thing. So we want to try to preserve the hair as much as possible. Maintenance on a hair system can shorten its life if you're not careful. So give yourself a little extra time. Don't be afraid of just putting on an audiobook or listening to some music and being very relaxed when you're doing this. Now, this is the last piece of tape on this unit right here. Now, it didn't require us to use any cotton balls because the bond hadn't broken down. Now, if it had, what you would have had to do, I'm gonna use a paper towel here to demonstrate instead of a cotton ball, but you would take the solvent, right? Let's just say it's very possible that there would be residue right here from the adhesive if it had broken down. So what you would do is you would spray the residue like so, and you would work the cotton ball against it, push into the poly right here, and let the residue come up with the cotton ball. You'll see some of the cotton ball actually pull and kind of attach to the adhesive on the underside of the unit, and when that happens, it means that's going to be very easy to take off. You grab that cotton ball piece and you pull up and you grab it. What I like to do when I get all of the adhesive residue off, if there is, I like to go over it with solvent just one more time and make sure that I get everything off. Now, the reason that we do that is because if there's any adhesive residue, it's going to make the next adhesive that we put down weaker. And we want to make sure that we're cleaning these units as best as we can, so that way the bond is going to be as good as possible. So this is, in short, how you go about cleaning a poly with tape.